Hi, this is Elliot Wave Sage. I want to go ahead and just do a quick update on the Dow. And like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. I believe we could be on the verge of a major market meltdown. Even though it seems unlikely, the stochastics are showing that there is a high risk setup for the bulls and also a great opportunity for being bearish this market right now. If we go to the 4 hour, as you can see, the 4 hour trend has broken lower. This should open us up to more downside here. And when that takes place, that should allow us to break the daily cycle lower as well, which will push this stochastic down, and the daily cycle should come back to the oversold area there. And then, unfortunately, when that happens, what's going to happen with the weekly cycle is that will finally come to an end because it's right on the edge of breaking. So once the weekly cycle breaks, that should push us down to the oversold on the weekly, taking out this RSI pivot as well. And yes, it even gets worse than that because on the monthly time frame, we also have a trend line that we need to be aware of that's from the 2009 lows, which will come to more than likely break with that weekly cycle break-in. And once that does, that will push us down to oversold, and that could really usher in new lower lows into the stock market. When the monthly cycle breaks, that's typically what we see in major market meltdowns, and we saw that in 1987, when right before the market crash that everyone has been talking about lately. But it even gets even worse than that because we're also on the edge of the quarterly cycle break in, and if that monthly breaks, and more than likely the quarterly, and this would usher in a secular bear market, one that we've never seen since the 1970s. So this is what's at stake. So the bulls have to avoid this calamity by making sure the 4 hour cycle does not get reset any lower. We need that rally. If they can't push it, it could really snowball into a major catastrophe very quickly, which is why I would not want to be long the market until this plays out. Let's go back to just again, everyone's talking about 1987, so we can go back to the 1987 monthly and take a look. And I've shown this analog before even the 1987 charts were floating around Twitter. You heard this on my MySpace first. So right now, as you can see, since the 1982 low here, the monthly cycle broke. It broke right around September 1st, and that ushered in the massive crash. So when these monthly cycles break, it's a really big, usually a major market meltdowns happen, and you could see that right there when that monthly cycle broke. Right here, when it broke, and I could just keep going on and on. So the monthly cycle is a powerful force that when it breaks, you usually get major market meltdowns. Especially if we get one at a larger degree if the 2009 trend line breaks. So this is why you need to be careful. Now let's go back to the daily in 1987, and this is the last analog I need to show you guys on the Dow here, which is very important to see because we're really seeing this play out. And I've mentioned this several times before to keep an eye on this. This 1987 analog. Here you had the market make a lower low, right? Your market made a lower low, but in an unorthodox bottom, right? We never got to the actual area where you would have expected it to capitulate, right? Which would have been at 2383. It truncated just like we've seen this year. We actually did erase RSI here, but we didn't get that full capitulation. Then we rallied to a massive trendline support, broke into all outside of it, and that failed. And then all of a sudden we had the waterfall sell-off. Well, right now we could be right now we could be right here in that scenario. So you need to be really careful because we've seen the same thing happen right now. And so if I go back, fast forward now to where we are today here, so let's go back and see how are things doing. But this is even on a higher degree. As you can see here, we had a drop, a pump, and again, we fell a little short of where we would have wanted the target to be, right? We wanted to drop to 27,000. We never got there. We had this unorthodox bottom, but we had RSI reset. Then we came back up to a trend line support area, right here, this massive area of resistance, and we broke through it. And as you can see here, we broke through it, but then that breakthrough is about to fail, and we're right on the precipice. So if this pushes any lower, which it should, well, you see the 4-hour daily cycle breaking right now before our eyes. Once this trend line breaks, it could usher in a waterfall cascade sell-off similar to what we saw in the 1987 sell-off. So you've been warned. There's a high risk situation in this market. If you are stupid bullish, like punch drunk bullish and long, you may end up in a really bad situation. And like I said, we have this situation here where we're in this area here, and if it could very easily turn into something of a nightmare sell-off given all those conditions that I've shown earlier. But do what's best for you. And like I said, if you're just kind of punch drunk bullish and you're so complacent and you're just going to sit back and watch, you need to be prepared that this low could drop all the way down, break this low, and come into this area that I have highlighted down here before you can even hit the sell button, and it may be too late, and you'll lose a lot of your money because individual stocks will be down more than 50% if something like this happens. Good luck, and we'll see what September brings.